To be a serious trader, you need access to a wide range of market opportunities, which usually means having access to multiple asset types. But to do this, you typically have to go through the hassle of setting up multiple accounts and juggling several platforms at once. One account for stocks, ETFs, options, and bonds, another for futures used to trade commodities, indices, and rates, a separate account for spot Forex, and of course another separate account if you want to trade cryptocurrencies. Setting these up can be a real pain, but it doesn't stop there. You need to constantly switch between different tabs, keep track of multiple data sources, and of course remember the passwords you set up for each one of them. And what's more is that these accounts are completely siloed. So once you've deposited money onto one platform, it's pretty much tied up there until you withdraw it again. This makes cross-market strategies a real headache, and most traders avoid them for precisely that reason. Here's the thing though, you probably felt this pain even if you only trade crypto. Platform fragmentation is a real issue. Most traders use centralized exchanges or CEXs for large established cryptos because they're familiar, liquid, and easy to use. But the moment a smaller or newer project catches their eye, they're forced to switch gears and move over to decentralized exchanges or DEXs instead. This is the so-called impossible triangle problem, and it's been the thorn in the side of crypto investors for years. But what is the impossible triangle? Well, when a trader uses an exchange, they want three things. They want the exchange to be straightforward and easy to use, they want access to a wide variety of assets, and they want that exchange to be secure with minimal chance of being exploited by a bad actor or some technical glitch. The problem is, historically, exchanges couldn't deliver all three things at once. Centralized exchanges typically have a much better user experience and usually have security measures in place to protect the investor and the exchange itself. But they don't list everything you might want to trade, so you often have to look elsewhere. Conversely, decentralized exchanges are permissionless, which means they often list almost every crypto out there. The catch, though, is that they're often trickier to navigate and are more vulnerable to hacks and exploits. Well, now, Bitget has stepped in to simplify things for traders and investors. In September 2025, Bitget expanded beyond a traditional CEX to become the world's first universal exchange, or UX for short. The UX breaks the impossible triangle paradox by bringing the best of both worlds, the user experience of a CEX and the asset availability of a DEX, into a single AI-driven ecosystem. As the name suggests, the Universal Exchange is designed to be one unified place, where traders can set up just one account to access every major asset class out there, from crypto to more traditional assets. No more juggling multiple accounts and passwords, just one account that gives you everything. Now, Bitget's expansion into UX territory began in February 2025, ahead of its official launch that September. In the short time since, the UX has seen strong adoption, supporting over 120 million users across more than 150 countries. That's pretty impressive for a platform that's been live for less than a year. So, how does the UX actually work? Well, in simple terms, the UX is the overarching infrastructure built around three pillars: Bitget's existing centralized exchange, its Onchain service, and its TradFi service. We'll assume you already know the exchange side. Bitget is one of crypto's leading CEXs with over $20 billion in daily trading volume, according to its website. The second pillar is Bitget Onchain, which was launched in April 2025. Bitget Onchain is how the platform has bridged the gap between CEXs and DEXs. That's because the platform shows traders new and trending tokens by scanning major blockchain ecosystems like Ethereum, Solana, BNB Chain, and Base. When users find a token they like, they initiate a trade directly on Bitget's on-chain interface, which executes the trade on-chain while giving users the familiarity of a centralized exchange. This means users can trade tokens the moment they launch without ever having to leave the Bitget exchange. And what's great is that Bitget Onchain also uses an AI-powered filter that ranks tokens by a range of metrics, like trading volumes, holder activity, fully diluted valuation or FDV, and more. It also flags tokens for obvious risks, helping users to avoid everyday scams like honeypots and rug pulls. And because the UX is designed to be used with just one spot account, there's no need for separate crypto wallets or the hassle of bridging assets from one chain to another. All that usual friction and complexity is stripped away. Instead, users can now execute multi-chain trades seamlessly, all from one account. And the third pillar is Bitget's TradFi element, which was launched in September 2025. Now, Bitget TradFi gives users 24/7 access to traditional assets like stocks, ETFs, Forex, gold, real estate, commodities, intellectual property, and more. We'll explore the TradFi features more a little later. Anyway, working towards all three pillars is Bitget's very own AI model called Get Agent, which was launched in July 2025. And if you think it's just a crypto-native version of ChatGPT, think again. Get Agent is Bitget's AI-powered trading assistant that's designed to make your experience even more streamlined. With just a simple prompt, Get Agent can do all kinds of things to bring your research and decision time from a few hours to just a few minutes. Aside from helping users navigate the platform, Get Agent can also scan crypto and TradFi markets and provide market analysis. It can provide deep dive research into a crypto token and can provide the latest news developments in real time. On top of that, it can also perform tasks helping users to automate their trading strategies. That's because Get Agent can also execute trades, analyze market sentiment, perform technical analysis on key indicators, and can even perform routine tasks too. You can literally give it a prompt like buy $10 worth of ETH, and Get Agent will get it done. And because Get Agent is constantly learning from your trading activity, it knows how to work to your best interests. But it also absorbs other data and the trading activity across the platform more generally. This means that as the UX continues to expand and evolve, Get Agent is constantly evolving with it. Oh, and for anyone wondering about the security model behind Bitget's UX, the platform offers continuous proof of reserves, with assets exceeding user holdings. As I record this, Bitget's total reserve ratio is 127%. Now, these proof of reserves are released monthly with full transparency on the assets held and their ratios relative to user funds. On top of that, though, Bitget also has a protection fund of 5,500 BTC, which gives the platform a safety cushion worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It goes without saying, though, that the value of those reserves will fluctuate along with the price of BTC. All right, now let's zoom in on Bitget's TradFi section. As we touched on a few moments ago, the UX brings traditional markets to its crypto-native platform. There are three pillars of TradFi on the UX, those being CFDs, stock perps, and stock tokens. So let's dive into each of these, starting with CFDs. Now, for those who don't know, CFD stands for Contract for Difference. Put simply, it's a bet on the difference in an asset's price between when you open a position and when you close it. You're not trading the underlying asset itself, just speculating on its price movements. They're similar to crypto perps, but instead of BTC or ETH, the underlying asset is a traditional asset instead. The TradFi elements of the UX aren't designed to replace dedicated CFD platforms, they simply bring TradFi assets to a crypto audience. So, crypto traders can access TradFi markets without the usual constraints. Almost anyone can participate, and trading isn't limited to 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's available 24/7. However, some assets, like Forex, are still only available 24/5 Monday to Friday. Anyway, assets are settled in USDT, the primary stablecoin used on Bitget. And because everything runs through a single account, traders can use the USDT already sitting in their crypto balance to gain exposure to entirely different asset classes without moving funds or opening new accounts. So then, what assets can you trade? Well, there's Forex, so you can trade the US dollar against other currencies like the euro, the Japanese yen, or more. Or you can trade the euro against the Norwegian kroner, the Aussie dollar against the Norwegian krone, and so on. Traders can also access exposure for precious metals like gold, silver, and other commodities like crude oil, coffee, wheat, sugar, cotton, orange juice, and more. And there's also stock indices, where traders can invest in instruments tracking the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, the Russell 2000, among others. And what's more, traders can use leverage to go long or short on these assets. Now, for anyone unfamiliar, leverage is essentially borrowing money to open a larger position than your own capital allows. For example, if you trade $100 with 10x leverage, your position is worth $1,000. If the asset rises 10%, your position becomes worth $1,100, giving you a $100 profit or a 100% return. But if it falls 10%, the position drops to $900, meaning you've lost $100 and your position is wiped out. In any case, Bitget offers CFD trading with tight spreads, which means better pricing for entering and exiting a trade. Traders dealing in markets like Forex can even use up to 500x leverage. Regardless of the leverage, though, everything is settled in USDT, so there's no need to convert assets into fiat or create separate brokerage accounts. CFDs on Bitget are powered by MetaTrader 5, or MT5 for short. Now, MT5 was launched in 2010 and has since become the de facto industry standard for Forex brokers. CFD trade orders executed on Bitget go directly through MT5's liquidity providers rather than being matched with orders from other Bitget users. You can use MT5 with your Bitget account, although note that your MT5 login details will be separate from your main Bitget account. But if you're not sure where to start, you can use copy trading and let pro traders do the work for you. And if you're just starting out and want to learn the ropes, you can also use demo accounts that let you practice trading positions without risking any real capital. And if you're worried about any risks around security or regulatory compliance, you'll be pleased to know that Bitget keeps user funds safely stored and protected in segregated hot and cold wallets. Bitget TradFi is also registered with the Financial Services Commission, or FSC, of Mauritius. And you'll recall that Bitget also provides continuous proof of reserves on a monthly basis. So that's CFDs covered. Now let's look at stock perps. For those unfamiliar, stock perps is short for stock perpetual futures. Essentially, they're a type of derivative that lets you trade the price of a stock or index without actually owning it. Now, the price of a stock perp is kept close to the real stock through funding rates, and unlike normal futures contracts, they don't expire. The concept isn't too different to what we just covered with CFDs. Instead of trading a perpetual contract tied to Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're trading one that's tied to stocks. So that could be Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Meta, or one of the other 100 plus stocks listed on US stock exchanges. And just to be clear, you're not buying the shares themselves. This means you don't actually own any equity and you won't get any dividends either. What you're getting is exposure to a contract that tracks the stock's price from the same account you use for everything else on the platform. Traditionally, getting exposure to US equities means opening a brokerage account, handling fiat transfers, and working within standard market hours like I mentioned earlier. But with Bitget UEX, stock perps are settled in USDT and can be traded 24/7. So, if an event happens at 3 p.m. on a Sunday that could impact the market, you can act immediately. No need to wait for Wall Street to ring the opening bell the next day. And of course, another reason why people trade stock perps on the UX is for leverage. Bitget offers up to 100x leverage on stock perps, and to put that into context, a traditional brokerage will typically offer retail traders somewhere between 2 and 5x leverage, which is okay, but, well, nothing special. But with Bitget, you can use the UX to seriously amplify your trade and be more efficient with your capital. That said, though, remember what we said earlier about the risk of using leverage. It also amplifies your downside risk too. Your positions can be liquidated fast if the market moves against you. So if you're a passive investor or if you're an inexperienced trader, then 100x leverage probably won't be for you. And this brings us to the third element of Bitget's TradFi features, which is stock tokens, also known as tokenized stocks or tokenized equity. As the name suggests, stock tokens are digital tokens that live on the blockchain. And each stock token represents one-for-one exposure to the underlying stock they represent. For those unaware, stock tokens have several benefits over their traditional counterparts. Being on-chain means they can be traded 24/7, and there's also greater transparency. That's because token supply, holders, and transfers can all be tracked on a blockchain explorer, and investors can independently verify backing and issuance data through proof of reserves, something TradFi rarely offers. But it doesn't stop there. Stock tokens also enable fractional ownership, letting investors buy smaller portions of high-priced stocks, thus lowering the barrier to entry. They also offer lower fees, faster settlement times, and broader global access compared to traditional TradFi venues. On top of that, investors can use DeFi platforms to post stock tokens as collateral in lending protocols, trade them on DEXs, or use them in on-chain yield strategies. Now, in June this year, Bitget announced their Stocks 2.0 model. This new model is powered by Reality Protocol and allows eligible users to trade special stock tokens known as R tokens, which are linked to selected US stocks and ETFs. Previously, Bitget stock tokens were issued through third-party protocols, namely Ondo. R tokens bring improvements over the former model. They have deeper market liquidity and give users access to dividends paid out in USDT and leverage capabilities which were previously unavailable. That said, it is important to note that not all tokens on Bitget are R tokens. Many stock tokens on the platform still use the previous model. This means that not all stocks on the platform allow for leverage or offer dividend payouts. Even so, the former stock tokens are not without their benefits. They can be a great option for traders who want simple stock exposure without the added complexities of leverage or funding rates. And just in case it wasn't clear, stock tokens and stock perps are not the same thing. Although they both use stocks as the underlying assets, stock tokens are closer to trading the stocks themselves, while stock perps only deal with the performance of those assets. So that's Bitget's TradFi products in a nutshell. But by this point, you're probably wondering, when would a crypto trader actually use any of this? Well, if you've spent any time in crypto, you already know how fast macro events move markets. A Fed announcement drops, a geopolitical flashpoint emerges, and suddenly Bitcoin's down 10% and everything else is falling even harder. The beauty of crypto, though, is that you can act immediately. But in TradFi, that often isn't possible. Traders need to be able to trade assets at crypto speed. After all, these are 24/7 events and they demand a 24/7 market. This is what makes the UX so appealing. Having CFDs, stock perps, and stock tokens all sitting inside the same account as your crypto means that whenever news breaks out, you're already in position to react. And of course, you can trade across multiple asset classes without switching platforms and without even touching a bank transfer. This opens up use cases you really don't get elsewhere. A good example is hedging. When the crypto market plummets, gold has historically held strong or even risen in value. With access to both BTC and gold CFDs on one platform, you can go long on gold as a hedge against crypto volatility. And the same idea applies to shorting stock indices during broader market stress. These are strategies institutional traders use regularly, and now crypto-native traders can too. Then there's earnings season. Every quarter, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, and the rest of the mega caps report their earnings, and their stock prices can swing dramatically. With stock perps, you can take a long or short position on any of these names ahead of results without having to use a separate brokerage account. Instead, the position is settled on Bitget in USDT and from the same interface you're already using. Macro events work the same way. Every Fed decision on rates, every CPI print, every major geopolitical development, these macro events can move Forex pairs, commodities, and indices just as strongly as they move the crypto market. Now you can manage all of these opportunities and trade them in one place. But it's not just about reacting in real time, there's also the diversification angle. Most crypto traders already hold USDT, which often sits idle between trades. Stock tokens, though, offer a way to put that capital to work through US equity exposure. You can deploy your USDT into stock tokens tracking Apple, Nvidia, or an ETF, and hold them alongside your other crypto positions. And for traders who don't have a deep background in traditional markets, you can also use copy trading. This means you can follow experienced traders who specialize in Forex, commodities, equities, whatever. And that way, every time the pros make gains in those assets, you do too. You could even use the lessons that you learn from these pros to build your own trading strategies. You could then stress test that strategy with a demo account and only commit capital once you're happy your strategy is bulletproof. Whatever your plan though, Bitget UEX makes all of this possible in one place, making everything seamless. Now, if everything we've covered today has you wanting your own Bitget account, then we have good news for you. Right now, you can sign up to Bitget with our exclusive link by using the QR code on screen or the link in the description. In return, you can unlock a whole heap of goodies. Not only can you get up to $50,000 in bonuses, but if you complete your first net deposit of $5,000 and place your first trade, you'll instantly unlock a VIP 3 trial. That Tier 3 VIP status gives you fee discounts of up to 38%, exclusive VIP perks, and yes, free token airdrops too. Yes, you did hear that right. Free crypto. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? So, what are you waiting for? Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen now, which will take you to our exclusive deals page. Hit the Sign Up Now button, create an account, and take advantage of our referral code while you still can. Okay, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. This is Guy, signing off.